Hello and welcome to The Letters Page, a podcast where we write Sentinel comics.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Christopher.
What's up, buddy?
It's another beautiful day. The weather's been getting nicer and nicer, which is just in time for some snow next week.
Can
you believe it?
Yeah, I really don't. I don't need that, please.
Okay. I'll call somebody about it. I'll see if I can cancel it.
Just went away.
Yeah.
And like, it's been kind of nice. It's been nice enough that my kids have been outside on their bikes. And
that's nice.
Because we just got Nicholas his first bike for his
you mentioned
birthday. Yeah. I ran over his tricycle.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that you got him a bicycle because you ran over his tricycle with the car?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How did this happen?
It wasn't because of that. We were planning on doing it anyway. And then I ran over his tricycle.
He was not on it?
He was not on it. He left it there, and I was leaving. It was nighttime, and I just hear, and you're like, I get out, and I look, and there is a flattened tricycle underneath my tire.
How's the car? So, fine? Not even a scratch?
Fine, yeah.
Love that. Because the tricycle's getting replaced anyway. I'm sure he was super sad about it, but then a bicycle, so it's okay.
Yeah. He wasn't even that sad about it. I don't think that he has any like emotional attachment to items.
That's great.
Which is he does not get from me.
Nope, not correct. That's very, yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say, that is, you love items.
Yes, items have souls to me.
You are surrounded by items that matter to you more than some people you know.
Yes, absolutely. If it was like, you need to stop being friends with this person or get rid of your Sonic the Hedgehog Lego set, I'd be like,
You're like, which person?
Yeah. Right.
Sonic the Hedgehog Lego set on the train
like
tracks.
The thing that actually least matters.
Nope, Sonic the Hedgehog on the train tracks. But then there's a person on the other track, and if you pull the lever, it'll roll over the Sonic the Hedgehog. But if you don't do anything, it's not up to you. You didn't do it. You didn't make the track.
Right.
You didn't.
It's the it's the trolley problem, but with Sonic the Hedgehog Legos on one track.
Right, but you have to
and a living human being on the other.
That's right.
That I know.
Nope. You don't know.
Not that I know.
You don't know the human, but they are your Sonic the Hedgehog Legos.
Yeah, okay. I'm not touching that lever. Let's I don't know. I don't know this guy.
I think you just failed that morality test. I think most of these are not necessarily pass-fail, but I think you failed that one. That person, I'm guessing, if you pulled the lever and the train, the tram, the trolley car, whatever, ran over the Sonic the Hedgehog Lego set, the person who you saved would buy you another Sonic the Hedgehog Lego set in thanks.
But there would be one fewer in the world.
Gee,
I don't know that they will either. I've had lots of times people be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I broke your thing. I'll replace it." That my Invincible Volume 2,
clearly not Invincible
hardcover. It was Volume 1 because I still have Volume 2. That was as I loaned it to somebody, and he dropped it in a puddle,
proving its invincibility.
Yeah. I was like, well, this isn't true. Yeah. But he was like, I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a new one. And this was, I think, nearly 20 years ago.
And you're still mad about it.
No, I'm not mad about it. I don't care.
You care a little bit.
No, I don't.
You haven't replaced the Invincible Volume 1.
Well, no, I got rid of Volume 2. That solved the problem.
That solves the problem in a different way, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so like that's actually more of my problem is completionism.
Right.
Yeah, so
imagine if you had the first 6 Exiles trade paperback collections.
Yeah.
And somebody destroyed number 3. So you have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I would take my own life.
And those are out of print.
Well, I mean, that just happened with Age of Apocalypse, actually.
Oh, no.
So like I had 2, 3, and 4 of the Age of Apocalypse.
Not one?
Not one. And I don't know where my 1 had gone.
Sure.
But it's just like one of the things that probably got lost in a move or something, or I loaned it to someone and never got it back or something like that.
It's right here.
And I could never do it. And then I was just given the omnibus, which was also out of print.
Mm-hmm. And so then you could get rid of 2 through 4.
But like I can get rid of 2 through 4 now.
Nice.
But the volume 1, I was like, I don't need the omnibus. I need to spend $200 on the omnibus because like it's an out of print omnibus, and like that's a lot of money.
And you have half of it already.
I have most of it, but the further out of print Volume 1 cost more than the omnibus.
Sure.
It was like $500. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like
that's why I stole it from you and sold it on eBay for $500.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to buy it from you for $500.
No, you bought the omnibus from me.
Oh no.
I can't lose.
Yeah. Anyway, so
well, speaking of out of print comics, let's talk about the Golden Age. That's a segue. Adam, we're not actually going to talk about the Golden Age.
No, we're not. Well, sort of are, but
from a modern perspective, so that's
indirectly.
I imagine that this comic is going to get some golden. It's not going to be exactly true to Golden Age.
No, it's going to be like what modern people kind of think of the Golden Age.
Right?
Yeah,
which is fine. I just like it's just anyway. Disparation got to be volume 2.
Yeah,
got to be volume 2.
Yes,
this doesn't make any sense to put in volume 1. Oracle of Discord's like, I guess we're showing. Don't ask questions.
So I think like positioning this matters what hero we are doing.
Oh, for sure.
And we've talked about a few different things.
We did. That's also true. I agree with you. Yeah, I think that our the thing that we posited last week is a great direction. Unless you want to do something else, have you changed your mind?
No, I don't think so.
I think that we do the Visionary.
Yeah, I think so. I think
because if we're doing this, especially in Disparation Volume 2 era, Visionary is already hardcore dark visionary time, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we've had her pretty dark since the 90s, and we're looking at the aughts or later.
Right.
So with that in mind, I feel like this is just a one issue. I don't think there's a Golden Age arc in Disparation.
No, I think it's just a one issue.
Because this isn't the Golden Age-averse, a reality in which everything is Golden Age all the time. I think this is one hero that we're doing a thing with.
Yeah, and this is just saying this is what was happening during the Golden Age of this universe, not...
And in this one, there's this character who we think of as a modern hero, but actually was in the Golden Age.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, I think I want to put this early in the Disparation Volume 1, so that, because the later you go into Disparation Volume 1, the Visionary feels less like a modern hero and more like a hero that's been around for a long time.
Right, yeah.
But if we do it in the early aughts, then it's like, oh, well, the Visionary showed up in the late 80s, so she's been around for not quite 2 decades. So she's around enough that she's established and everybody knows who she is, but she's still a newer hero. So I feel like that puts us in... I can go somewhere in the single digits. I've got some space in the single digits for this. If we want to do that early, if we want to push it a little bit later, I've got space in 04.
I don't mind single digits. That's fine. I don't...
Yeah, because I can put it in... Oh, no. So I don't actually. I've changed my mind, Adam. I don't want to put it that early because issue 3 of volume 2 of Disparation is already a visionary story. It's, well, unless we're going to do that on purpose. It's a visionary story. It's the fixing / retelling of her backstory, and then goes on to tell more about her world once she's gone.
I don't want to put it next to that. I don't think.
Yeah, so the option is either put it next to that or separate it quite a bit.
The double digits is fine though.
Yeah. That's in November of 2002. I can bump it all the way up here to January of 2004. That's plenty of space.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that. And that'll put it in. Actually, let's put it. Yeah, let's do January of 2004. That's fine.
Okay. And issue number?
Disparation Volume 2, issue 17. There we go.
All right.
Who's our villain for this story? I feel like since we're doing a visionary story, we should do a Golden Age thing. Do we want this Golden Age thing to be like, here's, Greatest Legacy and GI Bunker, and we do I
think we can maybe see them, but
around.
Yeah, or in a couple shots or whatever, but I think we need to focus on the main character of the issue. But
sure, I think that actually maybe opening the issue with here's Greatest Legacy and GI Bunker and Henry Goodman Absolute Zero and the Visionary, 4 heroes from the Golden Age fighting together against Baron Blade or something. Mm-hmm. Actually fighting against Dr. Wonder.
That's not bad. What do we know about Dr. Wonder?
Oh,
because
man.
I have some thoughts.
We could do Miss Medusa. I think Dr. Wonder is actually probably our best bet.
It might be. So we're redoing her origin here too?
Kind of, because she's like, oh, this is like a different, just like it's not she came from another reality, blah blah blah. We have a psychic character called the Visionary, and then carte blanche. It's Vanessa Long. She's psychic. She's a visionary. Everything else beyond that, Nope. Like, as you like it.
Yeah. Okay.
And so what I think we want to do is have them start out with the classic heroes against a classic villain. And Dr. Wonder, Adam, we know about him being like this, like, kind of generic. He's an inventor. He has a growth ray. He turns like animals and insects into giant monsters.
Okay.
He is one of his things. He's got a volcano base at one point. No, it's not a volcano base. He has a volcano generating device that he'll be like, I'm going to hold your city hostage. Yeah. If you don't give me what I want, I will turn your city into a volcano. So yeah. Yeah. So Dr. Wonder is like a super, super early Sentinel Comics villain who's just really not notable and does not survive the Golden Age at all.
Right.
And so people reading this
to, like, open up. Yeah.
Right. People reading this could be like, oh, Dr. Wonder, what a cool, fun villain that you made up for this issue. It's like, actually, no, it's a classic villain. He appeared in a half dozen issues back in the day, but it's just entirely unremarkable.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the book just being like, oh yeah, we've got Legacy, Bunker. It's just going to be called Bunker, but we have Absolute Zero, but it's Henry Goodman Absolute Zero. Because I think there's an amount of like awareness of those characters.
Yeah, I think so.
And we even see maybe just the three of them. They're fighting, and they're like, oh no, a thing! Dr. Wonder is dropping a building on us. It's like Visionary's like, I will hold it up with my psychic powers. And it's like, oh yeah, Visionary's here. Thank you, stalwart ally.
Well, so that's my question though. Also, does she have like, are we scaling back her power to match Golden Age? Because like these three characters are much less powerful than
it's true. Other. With the exception of Legacy, the only difference between him and his son is it's just the execution of the power. I mean, like the difference is the bulletproof skin, but like no, that's not true. He had no, that is true, right? Oh man, sometimes brain just fall out of head. Right. Yeah, bulletproof skin. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So the only thing that this one, the greatest, doesn't have is bulletproof skin.
Right, but like he's portrayed as less strong.
Yep, for sure he is. Well, and it's not even that him being portrayed as less strong. The Golden Age didn't swing as hard when it came to superheroes.
Right,
there's definite power creep.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I do think that what we can do is we can have Dr. Wonder he's about to fire his terrible Destructo beam at us, and she's like, I will reach into his mind and make him doubt himself in the moment that he would press the button, and then they're able to rush him. It's like, okay, and that's her thing.
She's more of a mentalist.
It's mental manipulation, right? Yeah. Okay, great. So we get this cool Dr. Wonder, several page open, but like 6 pages at the most, probably. But that's like shows us Golden Age art, Golden Age characters. Visionary's there. She uses her mind powers on Dr. Wonder. They defeat Dr. Wonder, and it's like, great. You will be tried for your crimes, but we're seen by a jury of your peers. And none appears to Dr. Wonder, for he is without peers. Like, yes. Very good. Anyway, great. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Then we tell the backstory of the Visionary?
We tell her origin. Yeah, like, I mean, we can have someone be like, a reporter or something be like, Visionary, who are you? What is your story?
Yes, you've saved our city. We don't even have Megalopolis.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like Golden State
like, saved our city.
You've saved our city. Yeah. And then we have a reporter, and she's like,
she goes, well, I'll tell you my story. It takes us back to the big one.
Great. So
my idea, I have an idea for an alternate origin for her.
Okay.
Is that she was a POW.
Okay.
In Germany, the Nazis.
Sure. Okay. All right.
And they do some experiments on her.
Okay.
And
great.
They're like, we're gonna make you into an enemy of everything that you stand for. And she's like, her mind is strong enough that it overcomes it, and she breaks out. And now has these.
Okay. Are we acknowledging the fact that she's Chinese here? Because this is interesting for the. Like you say,
I actually don't know where China stood during that war.
During World War II?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know China's involvement.
Okay, interesting. So China was neither part of the Axis nor the Allies, but they.
Yeah, that's
the problem is China. The problem is that there wasn't a China during World War II. There was a whole bunch of different ones because there's communist China, but then there's also like all of the different warlords.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as a result of the warring between, while World War II is happening for pretty much like the rest of the world, less so in a few other places, but for China was having a bunch of internal strife that resulted partially because of the communist pressure from the Soviet Union. The communist China was able to get a lot of power and strength during that time and take over a bunch of it. This is a gross
oversimplification. Yeah.
Yes, right. Like I could really get into it. I don't think we should.
Okay.
But we could have her be American Chinese.
Yeah, we could do that, or you could have her flee China from the strifes there.
Sure, we could just have her flee China. Her parents flee China, taking small child with her.
Great.
They get captured by Nazis as they try to flee to America.
Mm-hmm.
Her parents don't make it.
So they actually probably get captured like shortly after World War One or something. Like,
sure,
because she's grown by World War II.
Right, because this is World War II era.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting. Okay, so what if we have her, she's captured, because the Nazis don't really come to power. They come to power pretty shortly before World War II. Like, there's not a lot of space there for this to be, but we can say that, because I do think we want our big final foe. I have a fun idea for the big final foe of this book.
Okay,
but I'm trying to set it up here. She gets captured by evil scientists.
Yeah.
Evil scientists doing so that, like, her and her parents are trying to flee the strifes in China.
Sure.
And they get captured by fascist soldiers
mm-hmm.
who are doing experiments on people to try to bring out latent powers.
Yeah.
Okay. And they do these experiments on her, but then some heroic U.S. soldiers break into the facility and free her. And that's the backstory. And then, but now she's taken to America, but now she does have these powers. And so, even though she doesn't speak English at all, when the soldiers go to get her, she's able to reach into their mind and understand them, immediately learning the English language. And they communicate to them. It's like, hey, you have to help me. I'm a prisoner here. I was a victim of them. And they're like, okay, great. We'll take you back to America. And now here you are, a hero fighting alongside the great heroes of the war.
Yeah. Great.
But a thing that happened when she was being experimented on by the scientists. This version of Visionary, we saw in the first pages, the beginning of the story, how she was helpful, but she was very much a golden age hero who is a woman, in that very, like, smiling, cheerful, upbeat, like, hi, I'm the lady, I'm here to save the day, I'm happy, right?
Yeah.
And she's she's like, I can read your mind and I'm going to make you be different. And she's like,
I don't think that's completely accurate about Golden Age women heroes. There's a lot of very serious ones, but
that's fair. But this one, I want to do this specifically with her.
Okay.
Because I'm leaning on the stereotype and pushing it a little bit.
Okay.
Because then when we see this, we're like, okay, sure, that makes sense. But she's specifically more like upbeat, happy than we've ever seen Visionary being.
Yeah.
Like, that's not who Visionary is.
Sure.
But this Visionary is very, like, positive. Then we hear about the backstory. In the backstory, we learn that in the experiments they did on her, that they separated, like, they essentially, like, split her mind in two to harness the power to give her these powers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then, at the end of this book, we're going to fight the other half of her mind, who is Nazi Dark Visionary.
Is she in another person?
Yeah.
So they, like, take half of her mind and put it in one of their own experiments.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so you have American happy, fun Visionary versus Nazi Dark Visionary.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. I think that, like, we need to give her a little bit of combat prowess.
We get some training when we come back to this.
I think she does like martial arts stuff.
Give her a gun.
Sure, she can have a gun.
Give her a gun. Oh, but you're right. We have to give her martial arts. Yeah, that's right. That's true. But
she can do both. She can do gun and martial arts.
Yeah.
Like, because she could get her gun knocked away and be like, well, guess what? I still have martial arts.
Punch. Yeah.
You thought I was useless. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, but you would have her be a fighter who also can use mind powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nazi Dark Visionary can be, like, more, like, wizardy, more like, I do mind things and I control people on puppet strings and things. Yes. And, like, you can have bad guy mind powers doing that here.
Yeah. Unprecedented organization between my soldiers because they all respond to my will.
Right. And so you get like chunk, 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 chunk Nazi soldiers marching, and you can even have, Legacy, Bunker, and Absolute Zero are there to fight with Visionary to fight. And the three of them are fighting the hordes of mindless soldiers. But the showdown is between Visionary and...
in an old German castle converted into a laboratory.
Yeah. Ha ha ha. Visionärin is the German word for visionary, feminine.
You're saying that like an Italian, but
Visionare. Well, yeah,
it's a visionare.
Well, the Italians and the Germans were allies in the
right. Yes, I understand.
That's the axis. Yes. So, it was an Italian scientist. Anyway, but to make it dark, it's Dunkler. We could just call her Dunkler.
Dunkler
for the villain. You've got the Visionary versus Dunkler.
It reads poorly.
It does, and it's dumb, except this is Golden Age.
No, I know, but even for Golden Age,
yeah. The problem is, I think that this is
Dunkelvision.
I think that Visionärin is. I think we have to go a different direction.
Yeah, I think so too.
Adam, do you know what the German word for mind is?
What?
Geist.
Oh no.
Yeah, Geist is spirit, mind, ghost, intellect, wit, and psyche. It's a very versatile word.
Oh boy. I mean, we could do that as a reference because it's a different character.
It's true.
So she could just be a General Geist.
She could be General Geist for Disparation. She could also just be...
She'd just be Geist.
Yeah. You could just be... I think Geist is fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And be like, okay, this is like a reference to General Geist, but it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great. So we get this intro story against Dr. Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
You get the backstory with her youth and then the scientists and then her training as part of the American Special Forces that involves these great heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, because they're the that's Freedom Squadron stuff.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right. So we get Freedom Squadron. That's cool. That's a nice nod. So this Visionary is part of the Freedom Squadron. And then you're like, oh no, there's troops that are marching out of this, or that are originating. There's a lot of troop movement around this one castle. We got to go do a strike thing there, and so they go do that. Mm-hmm. And these troops are so coordinated, and they seem
There's
to all
clearly some sort of secret program going on there. We got to put an end to it.
It's like, well, we'll make a distraction. You try to infiltrate.
Yeah.
You can use it, and she can use her powers to make it so that she can walk by somebody and they don't even see her. That she's just like, they have a blind spot to her because she's like, you don't perceive me. So she's like, I'll sneak into the castle. But then she gets captured immediately by Geist because that's the other version of her, and she can detect her. Mm-hmm. So we have this big showdown between Visionary and Geist, because there has to be Geist originally gets the upper hand, captures her. But then Visionary is able to prey on the weak mind of the Nazi guards to get out of her cell. And she's like, okay, I could escape here, but I can't escape. I have to stop Geist. And I was about to do a non-Golden Age end, but I don't know. Because this is still written in 2003 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
But, because I feel like if this were a Golden Age story, you just kill Geist at the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times you would.
Right.
Yes.
There's not the same the modern aesthetic of we're gonna keep this on as a maybe thing for one, or for two. The idea of she should try to save Geist is a more modern.
Right.
But this is a modern story. It's just got Golden Age trappings. It is.
Written. I mean, I think lean towards that. I think we can have a modern ending.
Right.
But just where it's
set. Sure, this looks like Golden Age, and this is set in the Golden Age, and this has a lot of Golden Age trappings, but it's still a story written by modern comic authors for modern comic audiences.
Yeah.
And so you want the more satisfying ending of the Visionary sneaking through the base and going, I could escape, but instead I need to try to free the other half of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get the part of my brain back that is in this body, but I can reabsorb this part of my mind and become a more full version of myself. And so they go and they have a mental showdown, and they fight across. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. They fight mentally across every incarnation of Vanessa Long. Essentially, they have a mental fight that breaks through the multiverse, and you have lots of different versions of Visionaries and Dark Visionaries and other things. And so you kind of it gets this weird. like there's a bit of the story in the middle, not in the middle, very near the end, that leaves the golden age, but it doesn't go into the modern age. It goes into like, or it doesn't just leave it absorbs every age into one. Mm-hmm. And you have lots of different incarnations, and maybe you even get some like hints of things to come in the future. And then as a result of that, she's able to reabsorb her mind. Oh, this is fun. This is not where I thought we were going. She's able to reabsorb her mind. Okay, great. The body of Geist is like, and destroyed. So you still have your we destroyed the bad guy story. But then Legacy, Bunker, and Absolute Zero run in and they're like, oh, all the soldiers just collapsed. What happened? And she's like, I defeated my foe, and everything's fine. It's like, okay, great. Are you okay? You seem fine. Like,
I'm just tired from the battle.
I feel better than I've felt in a long time. And so it's like this. I was like, what's going on here? It's like she's more herself, but she is both of those people.
She has the darkness in her now. Yeah.
But this issue is one of the rare Volume 2 ones. It opens, like we said, and it goes the whole way, Golden Agey, except for the little bit of mental stuff that breaks across into multiple ages. But it ends with. And she's like this moment stuff, and then you get like that same panel but zoomed out a little bit and a little bit like through a weird filter, and then a word bubble comes across it saying, "That'll do. I've seen enough." And we have Dark Visionary at the Oracle of Discord, and she's like mentally attacking the Oracle of Discord. She's like, "You've shown me what I needed. I'm going to take my leave of you now." And they're like, "You must pay." She's like, I feel like I've paid enough in my various existence. And they're like, you will pay one way or another. And there's this kind of like this left open thing of Dark Visionary went to the Oracle of Discord to be like, show me a thing.
Yeah. Great. Okay. No, I really like that. Yeah.
That went way faster than I expected.
Yeah. No, that's cool though.
I did not think that this story was Dark Visionary goes to the Oracle of Discord.
No, I didn't think so either. I didn't think that there were two people visionaries. That we separate her like that. That's very
that
cool.
Like actually one of them has some of her brain.
Yeah. And I think that regular Visionary has hair and Nazi Visionary does not.
Nazi Visionary does not, and also has like Frankenstein staples across the forehead.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna write that down.
But yeah, regular Golden Age Visionary has hair. Probably black hair.
Yeah, I'll do some Golden Age costume research.
Yeah, I mean, you could, at that point, you almost give her like an army jumpsuit sort of costume, sort of thing.
Maybe I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look it up. I still want to look at the superhero from that era.
That's true. Oh yeah, there's a lot of interesting options actually.
Yeah, there are.
Well, we'll talk about that more when we get to the cover section. It's interesting because again, this should look like a Golden Age cover, but this should look like a Golden Age cover that a modern audience is still excited to see.
Yeah,
because some Golden Age covers are just like, not great. Adam, let's go to the letter section because we have a bunch of letters.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
We have a bunch of letters today, not about this episode. We have 3 letters about this episode.
Okay.
But this is the time to do the follow-up letters from the Distant Future Limited Prophecies series. Yeah. And I apologize, everybody, I cut a bunch of letters and we still have a bunch to read. But first, before we get there, I'm putting the cart ahead of the donkey. And I'm going to read a letter from Indril, who writes, "Hello, Christopher and Adam. Now, today's episode excites me, mainly because this is similar to a prompt I've submitted about taking a modern hero and reimagining them as a Golden Age hero. So I'm hoping that that is what happens here. But it could be just a hero that's in the Golden Age for some reason. Now, I don't know which hero it is, but I do know that this is taking place in a universe that's still in the Golden Age, so I'll ask questions about this Golden Age-verse. Okay, I want to pause right here. This is not a Golden Age-verse. The idea is that this universe that we're looking at, this disparate universe, is a universe that who knows what it looks like by its own modern age, but in its Golden Age, it had
Visionary there.
It had Greatest Legacy. Yeah. It had G.I. Bunker. It had Henry Goodman, Absolute Zero. They were a team called the Freedom Squadron, along with the Visionary. What other changes are in this universe? Who can say?
This is a good example of one that's just like, here's an alternate story in this, and it's not like the entire universe is changed to fit an aesthetic or what have you.
Right. And this is what most of the Disparations are, is a place where there is a thing that is different, and that is what the story is about, is how that different thing impacts that world. Right. As opposed to the entire world is bats or ants or hat-wearing people or whatever. Right. Those two happen as well, of course. We've talked about them. But anyway, is both.
That's a universe in which you can take away the way someone wears their hat.
Dark.
Yeah.
Dark stuff.
Yeah.
I'll ask what's probably an obvious question. Is this the universe that the greatest legacy that participated in Oblivion came from? Or was that a case of taking him from the actual past of the Prime timeline that then branches off and becomes a separate Golden Age verse than the one this issue is? I think I remember a discussion about how this did indeed become its own branch due to changes from Greatest talking to his descendants, but it was a while ago. Yeah, I mean, so like multiverse branches, all sorts of things. The question is the greatest legacy that fought in the Oblivion conflict
right
actually the dad of the legacy?
I feel like yes, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I feel like it's yes as well.
Is that like, yeah, that's why they did it is
right. Like you can, I think that there continues to be ongoing fan theories about like, but hold on, it doesn't make any sense because of realities and because of shifting. It would like him coming there and then going back would automatically make this a different branch with a different reality. And Sentinel Comics has an official position is, nope, that's Legacy's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't talk about it. Like time travel is weird. Oblivion time travel is extra weird. That one, we're going to say that one's his dad.
Yeah.
Is this the issue, the first appearance of this universe, or is this the last appearance before Oblivion? This is the first appearance of this universe.
Yeah, I don't know if it comes back or not.
If it ever comes back, there could be another story. It's like, oh, Disparation world in which something is different in some way, and it happens to be the same world in which Visionary was a Golden Age hero. Like I could see somebody doing a thing where they're like, oh, we're doing this.
I'm going to nod to that, but like I don't think that it's specifically like sold as this is that. Seems like a one-off.
It would be the way that we would know that we went to this same reality again is if we were seeing some story where something was different. It was a modern era thing, and there was like in the background a shot where you could see like a newspaper that had Greatest Legacy and Golden Age Visionary, and it was just the artist being like, I'm going to put this in the background to kind of hint at this thing, but it's not like we've returned to that universe. Like I don't think that we see it again.
Yeah.
If this isn't already a Lakamodora issue, did she visit this universe at some point? No. Those are the questions I have. I'll just finish this off by saying how much I find the Golden Age just fascinating. Seeing these cultural phenomena at their newest in a completely different cultural atmosphere is interesting to me, which is why I like thinking about how heroes from a different time would be if they were created there. Just some thoughts about why I submitted this prompt, even if it wasn't the one that spawned the episode. I'm looking forward to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it, Indril.
I have a letter from Fragarak who writes, Hail writers, I'm rather excited to see the results of the modern hero in the Golden Age episode. There are quite a few characters that it would be fun to see the return of. Relatedly, I wish to ask, how well known or remembered are either of the following characters in universe? Number one, the original Captain Cosmic. Ray Talbot ended up far out in space wandering the stars on the Lost Comet. Has he ever met any modern heroes or been alluded to outside Oblivion? How is his crew and Comet doing in the modern era?
I think that modernly, Ray Talbot is remembered less as a comic book character and more as a pulp hero. Where like, yeah, he's a pulp hero from comic books, but it's like, you don't think of it as like, oh, and Ray Talbot was an original like Sentinel Comics superhero. I think
about as many people know about Ray Talbot as Flash Gordon.
Or John Carter. And I think
it's not zero. There's like a lot of people that are really into that era of story, but it's not like it's not like a headlining property.
If you're thinking about superheroes, you don't think about Ray Talbot, even though he was the original Captain Cosmic. Captain Cosmic Ray Talbot is like, if in Marvel Comics they happened to publish Flash Gordon comics back in the day, you wouldn't be like, oh, and Flash Gordon, the Marvel Comics character, even if that was true about him.
Right.
So,
like, but there are pulp serials and movies and
right. So I think that there's modern cultural awareness of Ray Talbot, but a lot of people be like, hey, trivia, did you know that Ray Talbot was actually from the same world as the rest of the Sentinel Comics stuff modernly? And in fact, Captain Cosmic, who we think of as Captain Cosmic, was inspired by Ray Talbot, whose technical title was Captain Cosmic. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, shoot, that's true. I didn't know that. Huh. That makes sense. I just never put those two together. So in terms of does he show up? I don't think so. Like maybe once or twice for a little cameo type things. But we know that like he has a cameo in Oblivion, and I think that might be it because it's such a like we do other things with this.
Yeah. It is. It is kind of an abandoned mythos.
Yeah.
Number two, the original Absolute Zero. This single-minded inventor was left at the wayside for a long while due to his uninteresting shtick. Due to being in the Golden Age, he lacked depth and couldn't make up for it with an entertaining gimmick. Has anyone unearthed his whole research? Has he been referenced by Tachyon while she worked on modern Absolute Zero's suit? Was any of this work given as a good show of faith, say, to the USSR and to aid in cryogenic freezing.
I do think that the reason that Brian Frost gets the Absolute Zero name is that some of the Henry Goodman research is what it makes the Absolute Zero suit possible. I think that is like acknowledged in comics. That is a thing that is
I mean, and I think you say show of good faith. I think that the USSR probably like stole it because everyone was stealing each other's ideas
during the Cold War.
During the Cold
War,
yeah. There's got to be like a story called Cold War that's about that, like
about stealing Henry Goodman's tech to do. Yeah.
I think that I know that we have also said Cold Shoulder is his daughter.
Yeah, daughter.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But I wanted to double check because I try to lie as little as possible on the podcast. It's hard though.
You try for your lies to be consistent. Yeah.
Jana Goodman.
Thank you for your time and your lies. Cordially, Fragrack. P.S. I've been planning to set up an ambush of my own for a certain musical tormentor, but it turns out my shipping crate beneath the Rook City docks flooded. All my gear was in there, so now all I've got to my name are my knives, cloak, lenses, and some grapple hook doohickey I found. Time to buy some bear traps, I guess.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, good luck. I've got a letter from Dill Ninja, who writes, Dear CNA, this episode topic gives me some ideas about what some modern heroes like Benchmark and the Southwest Sentinels would be like in the Golden Age, but those fall more into the realm of fan fiction than questions, so I'll tackle the topic from a different angle. Is there an issue of Disparation where La Camolora goes back to the Golden Age and meets Greatest Legacy, either to set up his appearance during Oblivion or explain it after his triumphant reveal? I don't think there is.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that his reveal is like, oh, shoot, he's here. And yes, we can see the portal and we can see the La Camolora trappings. So we know how it's happening and we know why it's happening. But an issue that sets that up, I think only undermines the coolness of the reveal.
Ruins the surprise. Yeah. I could see there being an issue where she meets him way, way, way earlier, not related to Oblivion, like
years before. Not. Once, like early in the La Camolora Disparation stories, I could see it happening, and people can harken back to be like, "Oh, see, this is a setup." But I think it's early enough that it wasn't even intended as a setup.
Yeah.
Tangentially, is Disparation Volume 2 still going throughout Oblivion? Yes. Or is the issue where he destroys the Telenovellaverse the final issue? Would there even be space for a Legacy La Camolora issue? There would be space for it. It doesn't happen, but yeah, Disparation runs right up until the end of 2016. But interestingly, in November of 2016 is when we get the moment in issue 5. No, it actually has to happen. Start at the beginning of issue 6 because issue 5, issue 5 of Oblivion, of the limited series, the cliffhanger of that issue is Voss stealing Oblivion's power.
Oh, okay.
So in issue 6, one of the things that happens in issue 6 in December 2016 is Voss closing off the multiverse. And so what you do is you have the final issue that works with what we were talking about. The final issue of Disparation, which is issue 172 in December 2016, is like telling a story of alternate reality, and then it just ends.
So I want to give a more satisfying ending than that, but like I think that it comes out later in the month than Voss doing that
for sure,
and
it can address it.
Yeah, I think it takes place entirely outside of the sandwich bag and goes like,
and like, oh no, that we just, it's like something like you can even do doing a story. The story goes along, like the story ends, and then there's a coda of like singular entities being like, what happened to that one reality?
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah, so that we get the significance of what's happened.
Yeah,
from an exterior perspective.
So yeah, it's going through the end of Oblivion. There you go. The letter concludes, finally, at what point in Grandpa's Legacy's life did La Camolora grab him? Was it shortly before his death to give him some closure about the future? Or did he have to spend months or years keeping this adventure a secret from his son? The former is certainly cleaner, but the latter does have a melancholy sweetness to it. That's all for now. Your fan, Dill Ninja. I think it's kind of when he's at his prime, maybe prime plus for the sake of, but like,
I don't think we really know though either. Like we don't get that much time with him there.
Right. Well, and when we see him, you have to remember, like, he didn't die old back in the day. So, like, it was certainly months, if not a small number of years before his death, with the idea that, like, oh, he's going to return back. And, like, as he's going back through time, he's like, no, I get it. Time travel. Mum's the word. As you know, but probably not that line. Something else. But whatever. It's the idea of that he's aware
Mm-hmm.
He's aware of how everything ends, but he's also aware of who his son and granddaughter become. Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
All right.
Speaking of things
becoming.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of seeing a dark and forbidden future that gives you hope.
Yeah. Here's some letters about prophecies. So the first one is from Hatch, the imprisoned rogue, who writes, "Hey folks, another riot, another opportunity for me to mess around on the filter computers. I stumbled on a group of files labeled prophecies that looked like it had potential to be useful, but it was just some reports on yet another alternate reality, which proved to be highly entertaining. I didn't get through all of it though. It sounds like the filter morons have gotten themselves a suppression cannon, which seems to be calming the masses. And by calming, I mean knocking them out cold. So I don't have a lot of time. One question I had was hoping you could help with. The legacy twins were still legacies. So, like all legacies, I'm assuming they each get their own new power on top of all the previous powers. Which of the powers shown in that story were their new powers? Is it the evolution of their mother's power and they shared it?
Okay, so that's the thing. We put our list of powers together and we gave it we gave it to them, but we didn't. The only thing that's new, like there was the way they used galvanize, and I think that's it. I think that the way
they have a fusion power is their quote unquote new power. Yeah,
right. The galvanize because galvanize was a power before them, but we've had things where like we have speed and more speed and strength and more strength. This is the same thing. I think this galvanize and more galvanize is the unique way that they use galvanize.
Yeah,
is their unique power. There's also an argument for their unique power being the fact that now there are two of them. But yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think you could speculate either way.
Yeah.
Gotta hop out of here. Not that their cannon is actually a threat. It's just that they don't pull it out that often, so I don't have many opportunities to use my portals to redirect it back at them. I'm going to have some fun while I have the chance. Have a better one. Hatch the imprisoned rogue.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Clue Drew Kenfar Inc. writes, "Hey, Christopher and Adam, are the legacy twins, Beacon and Lantern, cyborgs? An animal, Clue Drew."
Are they cyborgs?
Are they cyborgs, Adam?
But like, I don't know. I don't think so.
P.S. Is context helpful?
Yes.
This is from the Omnitron is everyone bit. And also, although it may have been unintentional, when Lantern needed his sister's help, he just spoke and Beacon replied before flying in. Okay.
Because that happens all the time in comics.
Right. But also there's two things going on here. Omnitron is everyone. So if you want to say Omnitron is everyone and that makes everyone cyborgs, sure. But it's more that everybody is cyborgs in the way that we are all augmented because we have cell phones. And like a human with a cell phone has augmented information at their fingertips. Yeah. And Omnitron is everyone is just like, okay, put that cell phone in you, you know? So
yeah,
like,
yeah, that's the argument for cyborg. Yeah.
So I think they are cyborgs in as much as everybody is cyborgs in this era.
To me, the implication of cyborg is that you are more machine than everybody else around you.
Right. In this case, like this is the new normal.
That's not the specific definition of it, I know, but like that's kind of the implication.
People are becoming metahumans through this process of Omnitron is everyone, and also the Legacy twins now exist. So now, as for Legacy needing his sister's help, and he speaks and Beacon replies and flies in, they definitely have futuristic sci-fi headset things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they are able to,
but also like dialogue is just weird in comics. You don't even need that to like. It's weird. Right. I was just reading one,
but they definitely have some sort of like head things.
Yeah, I was just reading one that with Iron Man, and he's hiding and putting his suit on, and he's got all this inner monologue, and it's definitely thought bubbles.
Yeah,
but then his last bubble is all spiky and shouted as he bursts into a room and shouts, "The Invincible Iron Man." And so, like, to everybody else, it's just quiet. And he just, "The Invincible Iron Man."
And they're like, oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Iron Man, who's he? I'm not familiar with him. Is he like Bunker?
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of like, he's not really. He's more like Benchmark. He's kind of a Benchmark knockoff.
Oh, he's a Benchmark knockoff. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. He's got like nanotech that is bonded with his skin and organs and stuff?
In some iterations, yes.
Okay.
I have a letter from another letter from Clue Drew of Ink,
which is similar.
It's different, but similar. Yeah,
yeah.
To people who make stuff up.
That's us.
After some work and re-listening to the section twice, I think I managed to piece together the list of powers. Can you confirm that I got this right? Beacon, Felicia, Parsons, is flight, exceptional athletic condition, silver form, super speed, more speed, energy absorption, lantern blast, danger sense, legacy sense, phasing, and galvanize, power amplification.
Yeah.
Lantern, Paul Parsons.
No, so it's but he wrote it wrong. It's not PAO. That's not what I have. I have POUL is what I have written.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, POUL is what I have written for Paul Parsons, not PAOL.
His vitality, single attack negation, bulletproof skin, super strength, portals, keen vision, atomic vision, x-ray vision, gravity well, gravity projection, and galvanized power amplification.
Yep. That's what those are correct. That's what my lists are as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. You did get that right. That's
also,
correct.
What is silver form? It seems to be some kind of general power boost. It might also make you look silver, but other than that, we aren't sure. I think we have the broad strokes of the others. A recent evolution, Cludrew.
Yeah, silver form is a power boost that makes you look silver.
Yeah, she turns into silver.
And that means her
I think
skin
that's the. I think it's a temporary thing that she can just sustain, and she can use it to do flying smashes.
Right. She's like, oh, I can be silver form for several seconds, maybe even like a minute or two if I'm really focused on it.
Yeah, and so it makes her like a little bit stronger, more durable, whatever. So she can go. And
I think it probably makes her essentially invulnerable for that short amount of time.
For just a short time, yeah.
But probably. It's essentially invulnerable to where it's like, oh, well, but this one
you could be melted.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Silver can be melted.
Yeah. But it does make her surgical grade, and so that's good.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah.
I got a letter from Gigi Freak, who writes, hello there, Adam and Christopher, long-time podcastee, first-time letter sender. While I have a sort of obligatory question, I wanted to give you a fun little bit of trivia first, namely that Paul, P-O-U-L, your immensely upsetting future spelling of Paul, already exists. Oh. That's right, my good sirs. You've stumbled upon a Danish spelling of Paul, which has been in use for centuries. Got me a good laugh to hear how upsetting that spelling was for you both, even though it's pure coincidence. Also, there's even more upsetting Danish spelling of Paul, which is P-O-V-L. But I would read that as Pavel, but I don't know. Maybe that's not correct.
That's less upsetting to me. Because I also can read it as like the ancient Roman spelling of Paul.
P-O-5-L.
Well, because like they had, yeah,
I do wonder if P-O-V-L is pronounced Pavel, because I know Pavel is a name.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. That's cool though. That's great. Yeah. I love that. Well, anyway, in the future, you've heard it here first. One of the two legacies in the future is Danish.
Yeah. One of the two.
Anyway, for the obligatory question now about the legacy inheritance nonsense. Specifically, I was wondering how the legacy line would continue now that the twin legacies have split up the powers. Is there forevermore two lines of legacy powers where each twin's descendants have inherited their respective twins' power set, and now the legacy cousins can galvanize together and each get their own unique power? Or is it more that whichever twin gets a kid first has that kid inherit every power again? Well, so here's a deal, Gigi Freak.
Mm-hmm.
It's not said.
Yeah.
Who can say what the future will hold? But I'll tell you right now, our intention is that the legacy line continues with two lines with their own powers, and they inherit them on down the line.
Yep.
Yeah. Letter concludes. Well, that's all I wanted to send in as my first letter to you both. Hope to write more in the future, but for now, enjoy knowing there are really people named Paul and Pavel, or just Paul spelled differently, in this world. Have a lovely week.
Thank you, Gigi Freak. I have a letter from DPR Cook who writes, Hey, CNA. So I've just finished listening to the fantastic Prophecies creative process and just wow, this is so much fun. I love it. Almost perfect. Almost no notes.
Hey, Adam.
Okay. That's yes.
Sorry to interrupt. POVL is just pronounced Paul.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. It was bothering me. I'm like, why am I waiting for a reply letter? I could just Google it.
You could just Google it. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Back to almost perfect, almost no notes. I love that. What are those almost doing there?
Okay, that's not true. You underpromised and you overdelivered big time.
Wow.
Legacy twins, a new Baron Blade, Neon Necromancer, a new Wraith appears, an Absolute Zero emerges from Deep Freeze in what I can only assume is a Save the Heroes callback to when he saved the Freedom 4 from the Matriarch. But what I most want to know, who are the villains? Obviously, there's a new Baron Blade and some kind of reemerged / clone Spite, but who are the other villains? Maybe Captain Cosmic uncovers an old spaceship adrift with a few dozen people in suspended animation on board. Unfreezing them, we meet Don Cohen and other superpowered individuals who left Earth 2 centuries ago to find their own world. I don't really have any other specific villain ideas, but I do want to hear about the villains.
Well, it's not that because we have the Church of the Dawn.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think that
which is kind of like canonizes her as a saint in the deep past.
Yeah. But no, we definitely need to talk more about villains, and there's other things we need to do with this world. But I'm sorry that after all that creation, you felt like we under-promised and over-delivered. We'll work
what
on
you
it.
Want to do.
Yeah, no, we'll do better next time. We'll stop under-promising and over-delivering.
Right. Yeah, we'll promise a lot more, and we won't give you as much.
That's right. But yeah, we definitely need to talk about villains. We need to do we talked about this, we need to do another Prophecies episode at some point because...
But we need to give it a little time. It's not right away.
That's true. Right. That's correct.
Yeah. People have already put in requests.
Yeah. We're gonna give it some time because it needs it.
Let everybody think about that.
Yeah.
Also, regarding the solar system, the moon was absolutely colonized by Mordengrad. Notable locations include Goat City, Ramanopolis, and the barren spaceport. It is still part of the nation of Mordengrad.
I do think that there's a part of the moon that is quote unquote like owned by Mordengrad.
Probably.
That's a perfectly fine thing. And it's like, oh, it's because Mordengrad such a wonderful, lovely place. So of course the moon is going to have like a connection there. It's like, oh, it's actually for historical reasons having to do with, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't know about Goat City though.
So when can we have more? Should we be asking for another creative process or should it be writer's rooms at this point?
I could go either way. A creative process would allow us to build out more characters, more villains, figure out different things. A writer's room, we would pick an issue of it and just do that issue.
Just do that. Yeah.
So like both are very interesting.
Yes.
What we could even do when we put it up for the voting in some number of months from now, I promise it'll be less than a year, but more than 1 month, is we could put up like writer's room prophecies, creative process prophecies. Be like, we're not doing both, but whichever one gets more votes, we'll do that one.
I mean, or we could do writer's room prophecies 3, writer's room prophecies 4, like make people choose between like only one of these is getting in.
Right. We do writer's room prophecies 3, writer's room prophecies 4, maybe writer's room prophecies 5 as well.
Yeah.
And then creative process prophecies. Like, great. Only one of the prophecies things will make it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if we remember to do that in a couple months.
Yeah.
Or a few months or whatever.
Lastly, if time, budget, and market conditions were all irrelevant, what game would you make based on Sentinel Comics prophecies? An expansion to Sentinels of the Multiverse, perhaps a standalone one, alternative hero character cards for Definitive Edition, a new source book for the RPG, a whole unrelated game. What would that look like? Thanks as always, DPR Cook.
I don't even want to speculate on this because anything that we spend too much time thinking about how we would do it will start making us in our minds coalesce a thing that we'll do.
The thing that I could tell you for sure is yes, like I would love to make them in Sentinels of the Multiverse. I'd love to make them in the RPG.
Yeah.
I think that it would be its own thing in Sentinels of the Multiverse. It would not be variants. We talked about that.
It's not variants because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's kind of just too much for variants. But
we'd love to do something with it in the future. Might get to do so someday. It's not on any of our current product plan.
It is not.
Document plan idea.
We're very glad that you like it.
Because we like it too.
Yeah.
Tom Fagan writes, "Hey CNA, you finally did it. You made a universe more interesting and more cool than the Inversiverse and the Extremiverse. I never thought it was possible with how great they are, but the Prophecies universe does it. I'm fully expecting lots of questions about various parts of the world to come, so I will keep it simple with this. What happens with the Meridians and Plavukol? Are either of these still present in the future, or have they all left to find a new home planet? Many thanks." All right, Tom, this is a good question. We didn't talk about Meridians and Plavukol. So Meridians, there's 2 ways I could see this going. We said that Earth is like still mostly humans, but then aliens everywhere else. But there's like some aliens on Earth. There's a way you do the future. Here's why it's not this.
I think you give them one of the planets. I think
you have to give them a planet. You give a planet
Neptune.
Sure, you give them Neptune. Yeah, you give Meridians Neptune, and in the process saying the Meridians live on the planet Neptune, and that's their home. Makes perfect sense. Here's a situation: if Prophecies had been written in the 20-teens, instead of 1999, Earth would be 50% humans and 50% Meridians.
Yeah,
and the humans live on the ground and Meridians live in the water. And sure, they both interact with each other and they both go to both places. But the water of Earth is Meridians and the land of Earth is humans.
Yeah, but it was being written in 1999. You give them Neptune, and that's
you do. And the reason that I say that is because Plavukol doesn't exist right at the time that this is written. Nor is it a thing that, nor is it like a creator or an editorial idea of what's happening soon.
Right.
So like you don't have the idea of Meridians call Earth home. Meridians are refugees here. So giving them Neptunes is the right move in the Prophecies universe.
I have a letter from Mr. Clockwork, who writes, "Hello, gentlemen. After my last caper went sideways, I need to lay low in Cooltopia. So when in Rome, in Prophecies, I was disappointed by the lack of future children solidifying pairings. No probability curve using luck to control their bullets. No Soreth Fim using mechanical wings and flamethrowers."
No. Seraph Fim.
Yeah, Seraph
Fim.
Oh
Seraph
my gosh,
Fim.
that's rough. Yeah.
It is rough.
Yeah, to imitate their forebears, not even a maglev, master thief with magnetic hover skates from the esteemed trade family. Until next time, yours, Mr. Clockwork.
Sorry you were disappointed. The problem is this is so far in the future, you wouldn't have...
You wouldn't have the children, yeah.
You would have the children of the children of the children.
Yeah.
You don't get to have the child of Ra and Fanatic.
And like, I understand wanting your ship solidified, but I also...
well, I mean, those chips are all canon.
I'm always really bothered when when it's like, oh, we look forward a generation. So this is actually like where the Harry Potter books really flubbed the landing.
You speak of things I know not. Go ahead.
Okay. But so like the final scene of the Harry Potter books, I'm just telling you.
Spoilers.
Yes, this is spoilers. The final scene of the Harry Potter books is basically just a list of everyone's children and how they're named after other characters.
Really?
And I cannot stand that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't like that type of thing where it's just like, oh, this is the child of this one, and this is the child of this one, and everyone is a child of someone that you know, and it's just like too clean, it's too neat, and like everyone just paired off so nicely, and like that's part of why I wanted to be in the distant future with this, is so that we don't just have like, well, here's the child, and this is the child, and this is the child, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I think it's reasonable. It's not storytelling. It's just listicles.
Right.
All right. I have a letter, Adam, from Mr. Clockwork. Hello, gentlemen. It is me, Mr. Clockwork. I've started to do research into the Prophecies universe for my next caper, and I had a couple of questions. Just to be sure, the Revo organization conglomerate, whose whole function is to make villains, seems fiscally fine, but there's no way you can buy superpowers? That seems like an untapped market for an organization that can make supervillains out of thin air. Yeah, I think that the idea is that they want to control it at that point.
Yeah, they don't want just anyone having this.
I think there is a way you can buy superpowers, but not just like from a store. I think you have to like know a person and do a thing and probably be in debt to the organization, the Revo organization, that is.
Yeah.
And do I read this correctly, that the 8th planet from the sun was terraformed and renamed Vognild Minor to settle the Meridian refugees? I don't have any notes on that. Is that a thing we said? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Now it's time for me to find a heroic or villainous way to jump to the next dimension. See y'all, Mr. Clockwork. Cool. Thank you.
I have a letter from Solar Flora.
We still have so many letters.
Oh my God, we do. Yeah. Who writes, "Good afternoon, Intrepid Overlords. I have a question about the brand new Church of the Dawn, spoken of in the recent Distant Future limited series. The Church worships superpowers, but does that mean they reject technology? You had mentioned that this future world is quite techy, especially with the itty-bitty piece of Omnitron that everyone has. Does the Church hate the idea of technology emulating and potentially surpassing superpowers?"
I don't think so. I don't think that the Church is like an intentional like, oh, we harken back to an era of no power, no technology, just powers through power. Like I could see writing that, but I think that makes the Church more niche and more out there. And I think the idea of the Church of the Dawn is actually supposed to be pretty mainstream. It's supposed to be like, oh, we just worship superpower. Like I think if you were trying to make the Church of the Dawn into a group that you were going to create villains out of and was going to be like against the culture, but it's not. It's supposed to be actually pretty integrated. It's supposed to be like, oh, this is just a thing that
this is a church you could go into.
Yeah,
just like
it's not a weird paramilitary group.
Right.
Yeah. So because it's supposed to be a pretty mainstream thing, like, oh, turns out after hundreds of years of having superheroes, there are people who just worship superheroes as like this is evidence of some sort of higher power or something. Okay, great. So I don't think that they are anti-technology.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Smart Thinker writes, "Hi, Christopher and Adam. I have a question about the Egyptian relics in the Distant Future limited series. Are they depowered or are they still active?"
I think they are depowered. I don't think they're still around. We don't see them.
They're depowered. No magic. Yeah, they're magic.
No magic. Yeah.
I know that they're not quite exactly. They're like extra dimensional as much as they are, but I think they count enough as magic.
They count as magic. Yeah.
Right. So, is the Enclave of the Endlings still around? Presumably, but I don't think we see it.
We don't. Yeah.
But presumably it is around, and like if you do enough prophecy stuff, eventually you'll run into it and see how it's different. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Rapid fire. What about the question is? The question is, Adam, are they still around?
Still around, yeah.
Apex.
No.
Are there werewolves?
No. Magic.
Oh, okay, good answer. Empyrean.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Therathians?
Yes.
Definitely yes. I think that Therathians are around and they're normal. I think Therathians are, here's one of the many normal aliens.
Normal aliens, yep.
We've gotten to a future in which Therathians by prophecy's time are Germans modernly, where it's like, yeah, there was a big war and things were bad, but we got over it. We fixed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's much longer since then,
right?
too.
So you've had time to really sort it out.
Yeah.
Boris the Bear Sokolov.
No.
He doesn't live that long?
No, he
just
does
normal guy Boris the Bear?
No.
Mason Galt, who you might better know under a different name.
Yeah, oh yeah, Crisis Man.
That's right.
Yeah. It'd be kind of interesting if he were.
Yeah, if he's just like, listen, I'm mostly machine, but I'm still running, baby.
That's kind of fun. I don't know.
So let's say maybe.
That's a maybe. Yeah. I'm functionally a lawnmower, but
you know the movie Lawnmower Man? Biography. Death Fiend.
There could be a Death Fiend.
I agree. Equity.
No.
Framework.
No.
Framework didn't exist yet. Framework is a later addition.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So it's like, nope. Yeah. Ignacio Gallo.
I don't think so. No. Magic.
No. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Magmen.
Probably. Unless there's been something that's happened that exterminated the Magmen. If they're absent, it's a notable absence.
If they're absent, it's because something happened to the core of the Earth.
Yeah. It's because someone did something. Yeah.
Yeah. Martyr.
No.
The schema process.
That's a maybe.
I think it's a no, because it's not invented yet.
Oh, it's not invented yet. You're right.
It shows up in comics after this, so it doesn't make any sense for it to be here.
Yep.
Yeah. The Seer.
No.
Sludgeon. No.
I don't think I know enough about Sludgeon to know about immortality.
I also think the Sludgeon... Yeah, no. The Celestial Tribunal.
Probably, yes.
The Bloodsworn Colosseum.
Probably.
But it'd be so different.
It would be very different, yeah.
Okay. Letter concludes. Just wondering. Smiley face. Thank you for your letter, smart thinker. See, I think that was a good list.
All right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
When I was skimming it, I saw Boris the Bear Sokolov on there. I was like, this is ridiculous. Of course, we're just gonna say no to all of these. But there were
some good ones in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Player 3 writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, I have a follow-up on the prophecies settings universe. When you mentioned a futuristic comic that ends in 2000, I couldn't help but think of another prominent hero of the new millennia, Alpha 2000.
Yeah.
Since magic is dead, does Wolf Tech make a comeback, making cybernetic werewolves for reasons?
Oh, magic dies, and so werewolves are going to die out, except Wolf Tech allows them to go on.
Allows them to continue, yeah.
Maybe werewolves through Wolf Tech, because certainly we wouldn't see werewolves.
Alpha 2000 is like a simultaneous market with this, to be this is maybe going to be what the future is.
Right. So the trick is that the Prophecies book is before Alpha 2000. But we're not going to see Alpha or other werewolves no matter what in the Prophecies book.
Right.
But the next time we visit the Prophecies universe through one of the Disparation stories, it could be like, oh, remember Wolf Tech? That's how we're justifying this.
That's it. Yeah. Or they try to memory hole Wolf Tech because that series is not well regarded, but
not at all.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Did editorial use the series to foreshadow the coming infallible relaunch of the new definitive edition of Alpha that would surely endure for years to come?
Oh.
They did, yes, but
no, I don't think we get any werewolf stuff in Prophecies 1 through 6.
No, they just use the trade dress and marketing. It's definitely the same sort of zeitgeist of
remember how cool Prophecies was? Now Alpha 2000, and people are like, this doesn't land the same way.
Yeah. I'm sure that the real answer for anything werewolves related is not pictured, but I'm curious for my own sake. Woo!
But the oohs are zeros.
Yeah, they are zeros.
It's a techie awoo.
Werewolves of the future. Player 3. Thank you.
David Watson writes, "Greetings, Team Sentinel." Wow. Fair. I always love hearing you guys take existing characters in new and exciting directions. Because of this, the podcast episodes where you create Disparation content always get me excited. But wow, you really outdid yourselves this time. I love the sci-fi future of 2351 and all the interesting choices you made while creating it. Because I loved it so much, I wanted to follow up and get some clarity on a few things. Legacy twins. What exactly is Silver Form? Okay, we talked about this. Silver Surfer. Okay, so yeah, we talked about Silver Form. How fast is Beacon? She got more speed. Does that mean she's as fast as Tachyon? You seem to go back and forth about whether or not she could make copies of herself using her speed. Is that something she could do? Or is that not part of her powers?
I think it is.
I don't think she's as fast as Tachyon, but I think she's fast enough to do the
after image thing.
The after image thing, but it's not like full on copies. It's like thing happening. So, but I don't think she's as fast as Tachyon.
No,
certainly she's not as fast as Tachyon's true upper limit, which I believe we've never seen.
Right.
I think the idea with Tachyon is there's always faster she could go, but it would be to the detriment of her existence / reality itself.
Yeah, I think she actually technically does not have a top speed.
That's right. Well, the top speed is now nothing exists. Something is moving so fast that it destroys everything.
Right.
And it's like she could.
Yeah, but she is only stopped by herself.
Yeah, one way or another. Yes. Yeah. All right, going on. What does magic is dead mean? You mentioned in the episode there are certain unexplained things that happen by magic. Could you give me some examples of things that used to happen by magic that are not happening anymore? Okay, so the existence of the Fey Realm, various magic-y things like Archanatab stuff and Nightmare stuff and other magic-based characters who do things. Other things that happen by magic, there's stuff, unexplained stuff. And some unexplained stuff is, science hasn't figured it out yet. But some unexplained stuff is actually magic in the world of Sentinel Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolves.
Yeah, actually magic.
Vampires.
Yeah. These bullet points are related to that.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
So far, we know that 1, magical creatures have either died out or left the realm. 2, there are no magical heroes or villains. And 3, magical places like the Court of Blood, Tomb of Anubis, etc., are devoid of magical power. Overall, this seems like a big net positive. If the price to pay for not having magical threats like Gloomweaver, Zhulong, and Apostate is to not have magical heroes, then it seems like a good deal. What am I missing here? Is there some sort of massive threat brewing in the world that could not exist if magic were still alive and being practiced? Does this have something to do with the Void and the Nexus of the Void? First off, I don't think that we said magic is dead is bad.
From
some point of view, it would be, but I don't
insinuated. But because I think that magic is part of the ecosystem of the world, and it's out of balance. That the ley lines are dead. That
magic being dead can only have negative backlash.
Yes.
There is the advantage of all these magic things that are threats are gone. Okay, sure. But once we start running into the problem of aspects of reality, with all the ley lines being dead, things might fall apart.
I think that you exist on a decaying world without magic. It's basically a dead world, but it will still take centuries, millions of years to fully decay. It's just it just has begun its decay.
I mean, maybe that's what happened to the Magmen.
It might, yeah.
Yeah. Because, the Magmen feel like magic.
They feel like magic.
I don't think that they're magical, but I think that, with magic being dead and the ley lines being
They do
gone,
a lot of stuff with crystals.
Yeah.
Maybe they're, in hibernation.
Yeah.
Maybe they all, just go we will go to sleep now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the final question here was from that section was, does this have something to do with the Void and the Nexus of the Void? Certainly the Void... maybe the Void is dead too. Maybe that's part of magic being.
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even dead. It's not dead like the Egyptian underworld situation. It's more like what Void? What the Void?
Right.
And it's oh, good. The Void is gone. That's good. It's but you see how this is a problem.
Yeah.
What instructions did Zhulong leave in his final writings to the Neon Necromancer? Or that the Neon Necromancer found? Why wasn't Zhulong able to keep magic alive? Okay, so what instructions did he leave? I don't think he left instructions. I think he left if you're finding this, this is what has happened.
Right.
He found an accounting of the loss of magic.
Yeah, it wasn't here's how to read. Here's how.
Yeah, why wasn't Zhulong able to keep magic alive? It seems that someone as powerful and knowledgeable as Zhulong would have been very interested in keeping magic alive and could have even had the means to do it. What prevented him from preserving magic in this world? Is Zhulong really dead? Okay, Zhulong is really dead. Because if magic dies, Zhulong dies.
Yep.
Zhulong would have been very interested in keeping magic alive, and he has a ton of power, and he couldn't keep it from dying.
Yeah.
This is a thing. I know you're asking for specifics and details, and I can give you some specifics, but they're only going to lead to the thing of, no, we're not answering the question of specifically how/why magic died, because that is part of the world building of this, but not part of the thing that is perfectly answered at this point in it.
Right.
Like,
Correct.
It could come around later, but that is a to-be-discovered sort of thing. How does the Neon Necromancer resurrecting magic differ from magic as we've seen from the current time heroes? Does his brand of magic accomplish the same things as other magics we've seen? He just looks creepier doing it? What makes the Neon Necromancer differ from magic users in years past? Okay, so the difference is use magic as an alive, existing force that people are calling on and using is going to look different from, there's these traces, there's these remnants of, there's these ghosts and bones of magic that are around and are being called on and used. And so the thing that is being used as magic here is creepier and more dangerous and aligned with death in a way that magic inherently isn't. Like, magic is very much like a force of life, currently, quote unquote, whereas in this era, magic is just about death, and hopefully something can be done with that or changed with that. But yeah, that gives you somewhat of an idea, I guess. I hope that helps. Letter concludes. Thank you so much for their wonderful games and intriguing world, David Watson.
Thank you, David. I have a letter from Mind Wanderer who writes, "Greetings, page prognosticators. I have some follow-up questions from the Prophecies episode. First, the silver form power." Okay.
We have answered the silver form stuff. Thank you for asking. Is there anything here that we haven't covered? No, we've got it. We got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second, for a solar system that's populated by somewhere between 60 and 80% aliens, there wasn't any mention of specific alien species,
That's
notably
true.
the Myrnians. They thrive on Earth and expand out to other planets, remain a small colony on Earth, relocate entirely, die out. And the Therathians, is their government stable now? Are they welcome in the Sol system? Is the new Captain Cosmic a blue-skinned Therathian? Do they or any other known alien species make an appearance?
The Therathians are stable, and they're just like a normal alien species like anyone else. And the Meridians have turned Neptune into the new Vognil or something or other.
Yeah. Third, Haka. Superpowers in Sentinel Comics can be loosely grouped into 4 categories: science, magic, cosmic, and alien, which you might lump in with any of the other 3. In 1999, there weren't a lot of human supers with the cosmic explanation. I believe it's just Gaius, Captain Cosmic, and Infinitor, though there are a few with outstanding explanations, notably most Citizens of the Sun. At this point, Haka's powers were also unexplained, but between his Haka's occasional manipulation of mana and the fact that he usually appeared in Arcane Tales and Tome of the Bizarre, I would think he'd have been categorized as a magic hero in 1999. So would it have made sense for him to still be alive in Prophecies? Thanks as always.
I think that what would happen is be like, hold on. Because I do think Haka's there in the way we talked about him. And it'd be like, wait a minute, aren't you magic? Isn't magic gone? And he's like, I seem to be sustained by something. Like, because Haka is always, every time somebody tries to explain Haka's powers, there's some additional wrinkle. So I think there's an idea of like, I seem to be sustained beyond even magic itself. Like, interesting.
I think his Hakas probably don't work as well, which is why he's aging also.
Yeah. Right.
But so they're like, Haka's kind of a fusion of multiple power sources in a way.
He is.
Or is treated as such.
Right. He's treated as such, and he's not ever really explained in a way that is useful until the end.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mind Wanderer.
All right. I've got a letter from the Tireless Dynamo, who writes, "Hello, Christopher and Adam. I absolutely adored the recent Prophecies episode of the Letters page. I would have loved reading that series if it were really published. But with one notable exception. You killed magic? Why? Okay, before I get on my soapbox, Peacock Talk has already had to deal with me venting about my dislike of the death of magic stories more than is reasonable. I do have an actual question around this, or several actually. First, how did magic die? We know that ancient magic users like Akash Buddha, Zhulong, and Biomancer and others, we know from the ancient magic users that magic survived vast changes in the technology of Earth before. And from aliens like Taragoth, we know that magic has existed in spacefaring and much more technologically advanced societies outside of Earth. So how did magic die? Magic has changed before and technology exists and there's magic. Why did it die now? it's not that magic died because of the rise of technology. Like, certainly that can contribute to it. But there is a thing that happened that made magic die that isn't answered in the prophecies 6 issues. Right. Yeah. It is talked about, it is worked around, but magic dying is part of the world building, and it is written as and magic died, and see how good that is. It got rid of all of these terrible things. This is a mystery
for the characters to uncover. That
right. That it is a part of the world, and it is a good thing to most people's point of view. It's like, and we don't have to deal with all the weird magic stuff anymore. But then there's this small thing that is talked about in the stories we told about that, but hold on. What if it's actually really bad that magic is dead? We just didn't know it yet.
Yeah. So this is not a death of magic story. This is a rebirth of magic story.
Yeah, because there was a death of magic. Right.
Right, but we didn't tell the story. It's just
we did. This isn't a death of magic story. There was a death of magic story that happened a long time ago, or not that long ago, but still a long while ago.
Yeah.
Magic hasn't died in the last 10 years when you're reading these stories. So magic probably died in the 2200s.
Mm-hmm.
And it is now 2351. So, yeah. Okay. The letter continues. Issue 4 of Prophecies also seems to imply that the Earth is the center of magic in the universe and surrounding dimensions. Again, we've seen advanced alien species using magic, but all magic being dead implies that space magic is also gone, and the scene of Gloomweaver reviving at the end of the issues, along with the lack of power from eternal sources and the Egyptian relics of power, which survived along with their mantles and the death of their entire universe, seems to hint that magic died not just in the Prime Plane, but everywhere in that universe. Is Earth really such a linchpin in the magical underpinnings of all reality? And if not, what caused the realms to also die or at least go dormant? Well, Ken, we're not talking about this. So, yes, magic is dead throughout this entire universe, including its attached realms.
I do think Earth is a linchpin of magic in most universes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
But here's the thing, is that the way that comics are written, it's why there's more superheroes from America than anywhere else is because they're American comics. All of the comics ever written have been from Earth. And so
interesting. Are you sure?
Yes. so there's a natural bias towards Earth being more important than it actually probably is. But
right. So the trick is that Earth is, let's say, an important nexus for magic, but I don't think it is the focal linchpin. We have talked in the podcast before about what/where the focal linchpin of all magic is. And I'm going to leave that as an exercise for the listeners. But Adam, I'll talk to you about it afterwards because I know the answer to the question.
Oh, okay.
This isn't just like a mystery box thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Last question on the subject. What does Talantus, the singular entity of magic, feel about the death of magic in the universe? Does it bother or concern them? Is it beneath their notice or something that happens regularly enough to the universes that it's not really an issue? Could Talantus restore magic to the universe in a way that even the Neon Necromancer can't? As a side note, I absolutely thought he was going to be the Neon Neophyte before the name was decided on, and I'm glad I was at least half right. I don't think we see anything from Talantus or any other singular entities in the Prophecies series.
No, we don't.
Anyway, thank you for reading my somewhat venti letter. I loved the episode and all the characters, and I think it was a fascinating and compelling possible future scenario. Also, Lantern and Beacon are amazing, and I love them both already. Sincerely, a defender of the multiverse, the Tireless Dynamo.
Thank you, Tireless Dynamo. All right, last letter of this section is from Conroe, who writes, Aloha, Christopher and Adam. This is part 1 of a 2-part letter, both about a situation involving legacies where I'm afraid I missed some important information. Part 1. The Legacy Twins. So, it was said that Galvanize was the power of the twins' mother, although it was a little more than being able to feel the energy of another person's abilities. Each legacy inherits the powers of the previous generation, gains a new one, and the power distribution segment was focused mainly on the powers they inherited. So I'm looking for some clarification. What exactly are the new powers the twins got? We did talk about that.
We went through the entire list of powers.
Yep.
There you go.
Is the upgrade to Galvanize to make it much more effective? It seemed to be implied that it was caused by the two of them using the power at once, not that the power was boosted itself. Does the fact that two of them exist at the same time at all count as a power? So yes,
kind of yes, and also Galvanize used on anybody makes them more powerful. Yeah. Galvanize being used on a hero using Galvanize back at them is what does we say the word fusion. It's not actually them fusing, but it is a it's a sharing of their powers. Yeah.
Maybe they both got a unique power, but it was so specific and situational they never talked about it. I'm hoping for Dirt Vision. What that entails is up to you.
You can see dirt.
Yeah. I actually don't have dirt vision.
Yeah. That explains so much about the squalor you live in.
Yeah,
I'm looking in your home right now, and you don't know that you're covered in filth.
I'm covered. Yes,
but you can't see it.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, that's the rough part.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, considering the entire point of Legacy, a nice, clear answer to this conundrum would be much appreciated. Thank you for all your hard work, Conroe.
Well, thank you, Conroe. So now we're going to go on we're going to leave the section of letters from the Prophecies episode and go on to the final section of letters, which has just one letter in it called Other Letters About Other Things, in which I have a letter from Conroe. Writes, Aloha, Adam and Christopher. This is part 2 of a 2-part letter, both about a situation involving legacies where I'm afraid I missed some important information. Part 2, Young Legacy at the Oracle of Discord. You see why I put this in a different section?
Yeah.
Real left turn here. This episode came out a while ago, and I meant to send this letter in then, but I kind of kept forgetting to write it. Oops. Here's my very important question. What the heck is the Oracle's problem? To my recollection, Young Legacy shows up the Oracle, and they throw her into the Inversiverse, and she has to pretend that she's a different Legacy before a friendly dragon man sends her back to the Oracle. They say they're packing it up because we, the readers, have been spying on them this whole time, and then they kick her back to her reality. So why this one last vision in this way? It's kind of a jerk move to throw her into the Inversiverse or something she didn't have anything to do with. She didn't make me buy that comic. Was there some lesson intended for her, but they were just in a sour mood and half-assed it? Or are they just lashing out at the first poor schmuck who wandered by? For immortal beings who like teaching lessons, they seem very emotionally immature here. This has been plaguing me literally since the day the episode was released, so an answer would be greatly appreciated. I'm glad that I got to it now. 9 months later? What? I refuse to believe that's true, and I choose to ignore it. Thank you for all your hard work, Conroe. Okay, so, first off, they don't throw her into the Inversiverse, right?
Yeah.
Like, she goes into the well, and thus she is not like, they're not like, we're showing you a vision. They're like, no, we're not doing the thing. She goes into the well and thus ends up somewhere else. Like, this is a non-standard interaction with the Oracle of Discord.
Right.
It's not how things are supposed to go. It's not where she's supposed to end up. Like, it happens in a weird way. The friendly dragon man sends them back, and they're like, yeah, things are going bad here. We're closing up shop. Go home. Mm-hmm. Now, this doesn't answer the question of what the heck is the Oracle's problem. The Oracle's problem is they see all of reality too much, and they know so much. So if we can agree that ignorance is bliss, the opposite of that must be torment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's a one-to-one opposite, but it is just like, I know too much. Like,
they know so much. They're like, oh, we can never feel good or happy.
If you ever visited 4chan in the 2000s, then you know that you can know too much.
There's something awful forums before that.
There's something awful. Oh my God. Yeah.
Right? Like there's things that's like, it's better to not know. And they don't have the luxury of not knowing.
Right.
Yeah. So that is the answer to the question of what is their problem? Knowledge. Absolute knowledge corrupts absolutely. It's not corrupts. Saddens absolutely. Depresses absolutely.
Just like, oh God, I just no.
Okay, Adam, would you like to talk about a cover?
Yes.
Okay, so cover. Definitely, we're going to show. The question is, does this cover show the Freedom Squadron plus Visionary?
I think it's just Visionary versus Visionary.
You just reveal it from the start?
Yeah, I think so.
It gives away the big ending, but it doesn't give away the secret ending.
Yeah, but we have a nice big like Golden Age cover of these
Visionary versus Nazi Visionary.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Yep.
Okay. You have some ideas for that?
I'm just gonna kind of iterate a bunch on because like Golden Age covers are just all over the place.
Yeah. So the other thing I was thinking of is it would be cool if this one harkened back somehow to a famous Golden Age Sentinels cover. I'm thinking of like maybe like there's the
General Geist one.
That would make sense. I was thinking about the Legacy, the Statue of Liberty one, but yeah, the Golden Age General Geist cover, and then this being like.
I don't think that I want to do it off of one that I've already done, but like it can be like specifically a reference to something else. Like
sure. I mean, it could be a reference to Legacy.
It's an homage to something that does not yet exist.
Legacy versus the first Legacy versus Dr. Wonder cover or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can reverse engineer
a cover out of it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you have any notes on costumes?
I don't think her costume.
We know that she's not bald.
She's not bald, and I don't think her costume should really actually look like any of the Visionary costumes we've seen.
Yeah.
Like maybe the color scheme can stay the same, but I feel like the thing to do here is, I was looking at Golden Age costume stuff when you mentioned it earlier, and the stuff that I think it'd be cool to give her like a cape.
Yeah, the area I was thinking is like Miss America or Miss Fury sort of areas.
I like I'm going to send you a picture. I like a short cape.
Okay.
I don't feel like we've done that often, and this one is a cool like.
Yeah.
Also, I like the hat in that one. That might be a cool touch.
Yeah, the hat.
Yeah,
Okay.
Miss America is a good reference, actually.
Yeah.
She's got a short cape, and it's a cape that has a
short cape, weird collar, kind of puffy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good starting point, I think.
Okay. All right.
Thanks everybody so much for listening.
Thanks as always to our patrons. We could not do this show without you. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/theletterspage and help us out and be a part of our community.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you want to take part in next week's episode, which is Editor's Note number 88.
That's true. It's a live one, and if you're on the Patreon, you can join us live for that and hang out in the comments. We've gotten some new folks lately, and it's been exciting to chat with them, and want to do more of that.
Yeah.
Also, Adam.
Yes.
I'm gonna slightly dox a person. I saw a Sentinels person last night in person.
Oh, really?
So Pieces, the board game cafe here in St. Louis.
Yes.
It recently moved to a new location, and last night was their like soft launch opening thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into Pricey Provinces.
Oh, nice.
I was like, what are you doing here? It was very cool.
Yeah, cool.
Like most after work yesterday, most of Greater Than Games, we packed up and just went to Pieces. There's like Pieces openings Thursday night. We're like, yeah, let's go support them. Yeah. And we had a nice time, hung out.
I actually forgot to mention this. This is not a Sentinels fan, but a couple weeks ago, I went to this place called the Reroll Tavern here.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
And they have, it's a very cool place. They have a board game library there that has all of the old Sentinels stuff in it. And they also have Sentinel Tactics and Galactic Strike Force and Spirit Island.
Wow.
But not Definitive Edition.
Did you get them out of here? Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, until next time, go and visit your local board game cafe, tavern, bar, whatever.
Shop.
Have a food, have a drink, buy a game, play a game. And remember that heroes live forever in the minds.
The hearts of those that they help.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
The Letters Page is a weekly podcast featuring fiction from the world of Sentinel Comics, written by me, Christopher Bedell,
and illustrated by me, Adam Repertaro. We're also your hosts.
The music that you hear was composed by me, Jean-Marc Giffen, and is used courtesy of Handelabra Games.
The song, Christopher and Adam Reading Letters to You, was written and performed by Christopher's brother, Anthony Bedell. The show is edited and produced by me, Trevor Casterline. Thanks for listening and supporting the multiverse.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters from you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Oh, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
the new brand of Church of the Dawn, spoken of the recent Distant Future limited series.
No. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Spoken of the
new brand.
The new brand. Yeah. I mean, it is a new brand, but
it is, but yeah.